despite having 30 viewers and before the sub gifting, like I quickly developed an audience that was sticking around. They came back, and then slowly from that, build it up. TLDR, I say this as there's a lot more to say. Basically, the problem with variety is I would get up to 300 viewers and I would think, oh my God, this is it. Like, I'm about to get my big break. I'm about to start averaging 500 viewers. I can make it a full-time thing. No. I play Fallout 3 New Vegas, 300 viewers average. Great. I finish Fallout 3 New Vegas. I go back to another game, 100 viewers. And it just felt like for 5 or 6 years, I would go up to the 300 and then back to 100. Go up to 300, back to 100. And don't get me wrong.
Now if you switch around, like you kind of get more viewers as people are interested.
Now I do not care if I average the same viewership where I go down or I go up. But back then it was also, I didn't have a YouTube. I didn't have a TikTok. I didn't have stuff like that.
Right, huge, yeah.
And it was just so disheartening. And then quarantine started. And I just felt so defeated and dejected. And I was like, I thought to myself, I was having such a hard time streaming every day in a good mood when quarantine was happening because I wasn't happy. So I remember at that time when quarantine started, I actually quit streaming, I think, for 6 months.
Oh my God.
I called 6 whole months.
Huge. It's like
everything. Yeah.
Crazy.
I called and then I remember I was watching like Korean TV shows. I was watching, and then I had actually started, this was before HoloLife's first gen debuted. I was starting to see a lot of, also, Amelie has a hype train. Come on, everybody, make it happen. Make it happen. She's getting the long version of the story. But I remember.
I love it. Great. I love the lore.
I haven't gotten like this deep into the lore. So I was actually seeing Kiryu Coco edits. I was seeing Kiryu Coco edits because she did like half English streams. And just like you, I was like, because I was kind of in this weird spot where it didn't matter what I would do. It felt like if I wore a tank top, people would say, oh my God, you're showing your tits. And I'd be like, no, I'm wearing a tank top. But then if I wore a sweater, people would be like, ooh, you could be showing your tits. And it was everything. And it was just everything. And I was an old woman, and everybody around me was telling me, hey, you're getting old. You should consider getting a job. This is nice, but like, what are you going to do in 10 years when you get tired of streaming? Blah, 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 blah. So,
oh my God.
I remember when I was on my hiatus, I was seeing clips of Coco and I was really, really enjoying. And I actually had a serious talk with my family. And they again expressed the concern of like, hey, we love that you want to be independent and you want to do all this stuff, but who's going to take care of us when we're older, right? Like we don't have money to take care of us. You are it's that immigrant kind of mindset of like, you're supposed to take care of us when we get older. And we're worried at this point that we're going to have to take care of you. So I asked my family to be patient with me for one more year. I said, give me 1 year. And then I promise you, like, this is it. If it doesn't work, I will move back with you. I will go to university or I will get a job in the industry. And like, that's it.
Yeah.
Luckily during COVID, well, not luckily, one of our friends, their grandparent had passed away, and they basically like were living in a little cottage, like in a little shack in the middle of nowhere. And they basically let me live there as long as I did the all the kind of housekeeping of the cottage. It wasn't much, but it was like chopping wood, doing the snow, etc., etc. So because of that, I got to, when my apartment ran out, I got to save 1,200 Canadian on rent every single month.
Wow.
Right?
Huge.
So because of that, I was like, okay, it kind of like made things go further for me. But yeah, basically it was my last. So I came back. I started VTubing, which I know nowadays everybody wants to be a VTuber. But when I first did it, even people that I was like not friends with, but at least work acquaintances with, people that if I went to a convention, I saw them at a bar, we would grab a drink, we would catch up. People would talk. I'm not kidding. People would be on the timeline being like, oh, everybody being anime characters is so weird. It's so cringe. Now those people are becoming VTubers, all that fun stuff.
I know. Yep. That makes me laugh so hard.
But I basically switched to VTubing, and I just saw it as, I know this is a really long story. I'm so sorry. But
No.
one big thing about me and VTubing was when COVID started, I was so dejected because a little bit of a side story, but I was actually getting into poker commentating and hosting, and that was going incredible. They freaking loved me. They were paying me great money. I was getting to travel. So I was like, finally, I'm getting a break. And then COVID started, and I felt like that was being taken. I was like, finally, I was having an opportunity, and it is being taken away from me, just like Hearthstone did in the past. And I was going through it. And I just remember feeling so unsatisfied with streaming, with everything. It was nothing my community did, but I was just unhappy. And VTubing, I just remember being so, like, I would get so excited for translated Coco. I remember there was a few YouTube channels that I would go to 5 times a day to see if they translated any HoloLive member clips in Japanese. In English, because I was just so excited and I thought it was the sweetest thing. So yeah, when I came back to streaming, VTubing felt super freeing. Some of my audience didn't get it, and that's okay. I don't blame them. Some of them did think it was really weird that I was like doing the big switch. But this is also why I felt like for a long time, I felt like I didn't really give streaming the correct chance that it deserved because I was always out like chasing hosting or commentating or things like that. Even though streaming was always the thing that I came back to because it was cozy, it was sweet, it was fun. And now that I'm at a point where I've never thought that I was somebody creative because I thought that creativity was drawing and singing. But now I realize it is creative to like yap and it is.
Yeah.
So now that I feel I've had this opportunity, I want to make sure that I do everything possible to keep it. Because going back through it, once I like, sometimes it's hard because when you're younger, you think you have a dream or a goal, but you don't realize that like the things that you do in between the goal is what you actually like. Like I would always talk about how amazing my like 40 viewer Witcher 3 streams were, like how amazing Fallout 3 streams are, how amazing Factorio is, etc. But then I'd be like, but I really gotta pass this audition for like this big, not audition, but it was like, I hope they pick me for this big tournament. I hope they pick me for this big thing, even though that caused me stress and that was not what I wanted to do. But it just felt like that would be a secure job, if that makes sense. Right?
Yeah, sometimes the thing is not the goal, but the process getting there.
Yeah. But this is why, fun fact though, when I first switched to VTubing, right, even though the general audience didn't really get it. A lot of my audience didn't really get it. I didn't really have an explosive debut or anything. I kind of remained a lot of the same stuff. But I uploaded my first ever TikTok and I went to bed and I woke up with 25K on TikTok.
Followers? Nice. Hell yeah.
My first ever TikTok blew up. And I was like, I guess I'm a TikToker now.
I love it. Oh, TikTok, that was like the golden age of TikTok, like right during COVID, like in the beginning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was amazing.
But it's funny because that same year, so I had my model ready in September, which is right about so I started my TikTok. So I actually was ready to debut in September, but I chickened out. And I think HoloLive debuted like right around that September or August, but I just chickened out. I wasn't ready. I ended up debuting in December. That next summer was when the auditions. So maybe like 6 months after were the auditions for Hollywood, right? Maybe a little bit before that. And
for Hollywood?
For Hollywood, for my old job where I call it Hollywood. My old corpo job. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but it's like, funny.
Sorry.
I really do not regret everything I've learned. I think I'm so grateful for the lessons. I'm so grateful for everything. But when I look back at the numbers and what was happening, I actually think if I hadn't joined Hollywood, I'd be okay as well. And I'm not saying that like out of cockiness. I'm saying that because I went back to look at the numbers, but I basically had started a TikTok from scratch that was already, I think, at like 300K. Every video was hitting. And I'd started a YouTube from scratch. And right the month before I auditioned, I went from 5K on that YouTube to 20K subscribers. Every video was getting 20, 25, 30K views. So that was like, you have to remember there was way less indie streamers back then. So I actually do think if I had stuck around, I could have still, like, I think I would have still been in a, maybe not a similar position, but I think I would have been okay.
You've been on your way. Yeah.
I think I would have been okay.
I think no matter what form you're in, like, as long as you're fun and interesting to watch, like,
and that you put in the work. You put in the work. You try to do stuff. You do the TikTok, the everything. My Instagram was doing really well, like everything, But it has been a really, really long journey. And I feel very guilty that I kind of just, even though streaming was so amazing all the time, I just kind of kept, it's that like immigrant mentality of, oh, but I need a secure job. Oh, but I need a secure job that, you know,
Right.
is hosting events, hosting, you know, like I am Katowice or whichever. Like, ooh, I need to make sure I'm at DreamHack or this and that. Just because streaming was really not a stable career for a really, really long time. Genuinely.
Yeah.
It's funny
It's
looking at it
hit and miss
today.
for a lot of
Sorry,
streamers,
Pookie?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
It's still so hit and miss for so many. Yeah.
But it's definitely changed a lot. And if I knew now what I know now, I would have made different moves. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I know now. And I had a lot of pressure from my family for a really, really long time. And yeah.
But look at you now.
Yeah. The biggest thing is like,
now.
I just feel like I've discovered that I'm a creative person later on in my life. Like I feel I've never really been allowed to express my creativity because it's not being a doctor, it's not being a scientist. And now that I realize like, oh, I'm actually creative and I actually have really fun ideas and I want to make them happen. That's why like I don't mind working on those things and I like it and I also am aware that maybe one day I will no longer want to put in this effort. So now that I can and want to put in this effort, I want to actually put in the most I can.
Yeah.
Right?
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the really
Got it.
long-winded speech. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. The full lore. Let's f***ing go.
There's a lot
love
of
lore
like,
here.
yeah, but I just feel like even though I don't know how to explain it, my initial acceptance into VTubing was not stellar. Even though in my friend group, I was always the weeb and I was always the person that's like way too weeby, way too an anime, na. When I came to JP Corpo, it was like, oh, well, you're not weeb enough. You're a little too normie coded. And it's like, well, yeah, I kind of have to. I was an interviewer. I was a journalist. Like I was taking care of like,
Yeah,
I kind of had to keep, I was working at a bar.
Toe the line. Yeah.
I kind of had to, you know, keep my power levels down.
I feel that.
But I think because at the beginning, VTubing culture was a little bit more on the pure-ish side where they were like, anybody who's not like mega into Japanese culture, like, but like I had been to Japan like 3 times at that point. You know, like back in 2013 or 2012, I was like, what? So I definitely didn't get like the hottest reception, but now it's night and day. And I'm so happy I stuck with it. And I'm so happy my audience has stuck with me. And it kind of goes to show that like just because something starts off a little bit tepid doesn't mean that you won't grow into it and you won't find your wings.
Oh, that's beautiful. Momo's rise. Momo's strong together. We love it. Momo spin. I love it.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and I really, man, in hindsight, I really wish I knew what I know now about the industry back then. I really wish like I had, but people just thought things were different. And like I said, even the industry was different. Even a lot of big streamers were like, I don't know if streaming is going to be around for a little bit. You should go. And like,
that's the age-old problem of don't put all your eggs in the same basket, you know, because you just never know what's going to last.
Yeah. Even people who are successful streamers were telling me, oh, you got a job like managing influencers at this company. Go. Like, this is crazy. That's my dream. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
But you're streaming. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I just can't believe it took me so long to get here. But if I could do it again, Amelie, I would not want it like... I don't want anything to change in my way of getting here because I'm scared that if I change one little part of it, it would change the whole everything.
Oh, back to the future problem. Yeah. Yeah, no, we are who we are from what we've learned and the mistakes we've made. And yeah, honestly, I always say this. I'm like, don't be afraid to make mistakes because I'm here because I failed so many times. Like if I had been successful in the very first thing that I set out to be, I would not be doing this. I would not be doing what I would doing now. I'd be, I mean, my college degree is in graphic design, and if that had really worked out, I'd be doing graphic design. But for that, I had gotten a full ride to college to do English. And I didn't like it, and so I dropped out of that as well. But if I had been successful, if everything had gone perfect, I would be doing that now and not doing what I'm doing. And I love what I'm doing now, so much more than writing.
That's the crazy part too. Is because there's something that happens when you're like younger that and this is something that I am very happy that the younger gen, obviously there's a certain amount of like, listen to your parents, they do love you, but sometimes just realizing like, oh, they love me, but they don't know what works in this environment. They don't know what works in this industry. They don't see things the way I see things. But I'm so happy I'm not hosting esports tournaments, man. I'm so happy. Oh my God.
Well, maybe there will come a time where they'll have you host like for like a certain game or something and you can just go for full circle. But, like,
I'm
as
so
the you
happy
are
I'm
now.
not doing that, Amma. Like, I'm so happy I'm not doing poker circuits at the moment. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, it actually ended up working out for me so much. I will say one thing. I do wish I started doing YouTube earlier. That is a regret of mine. For years, a lot of pals have told me I should be doing YouTube and I didn't. I do wish I did it earlier because I wish I had gotten more experience and I had experimented more. Because one thing I noticed today is a lot of I call it like stealing from old me. But like right now, I'm stealing ideas that I'm stealing things that I would do to 40 viewers and 80 viewers and 130 viewers and et cetera, et cetera. I'm stealing from past me. And I wish I had a little bit more stealing from past YouTube me because I feel like I could refine the ideas more and more and more. But it was just expensive, right, to do YouTube, especially because I don't really edit. And editors, when you're not making a lot of money, hiring an editor is insane.
Yeah, it can be very expensive. And just time consuming. Like even if you want to do it yourself, like it is incredibly time consuming.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of be like, okay, maybe I can't, like maybe I will edit myself, but then I'll be not able to do XYZ because I'll be using.
And then I won't be able to
time.
stream. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're gonna kind of weigh the pros and the cons there, unfortunately.
Also, another thing about streaming is the times really have changed as well. When I remember when I first streamed Mass Effect, I played Mass Effect, I think, for close to 4 months because I played each game. I read every lore. Can you imagine streaming a game for 4 months? It was all the Mass Effects, but still, it wasn't Andromeda. It wasn't out yet. But like, can you imagine playing Fallout New Vegas, just that game, for almost 2 months? Like, no, forget it. We're talking every day. This was like,
Well, I did. When I first started streaming, I was on camera, but I did Dead by Daylight like every single day.
See, that's different because Dead by Daylight actually does have that big audience that watches people play that game.
That's fair.
But when it comes to like a little variety game that doesn't typically have viewership, you could not do that. Yeah.
Fair.
It's just not something that you can do nowadays, playing the same game. And as much as the audience sometimes are like, oh no, I'd love for you to play it, it's really more of the roguelites or like the Factorio run that they could watch you play. One run of Crusader Kings 3 for a few streams and then...
I gotta play that. It looked like you were having so much fun.
I will warn you, there's a lot of information in that game that will feel like an overload, but it's fun.
Really? Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, one thing I'm very happy about is more and more youth realizing that the world has changed a lot from our parents' time. The world has changed a lot from our grandparents' time, and that, there are opportunities that your parents just simply do not know about. And even if they try to tell you to be safe and watch out for your future, they only really know it from their perspective.
That is true.
Yeah.